Hi guys, Angie here from Pear Collections. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Today on Tips and Tricks, I thought I would do a bit of a tip and trick lesson on what a petite pear-shaped body is. Now, if you're ever wanting to know exactly what a pear-shaped body is, please feel free to look at those pictures of me that I have on Pear Collections all over our social medias and our Instagram stories and everything, because I myself am a petite pear. So what is a petite pear, is everyone wondering? I feel like a lot of people actually don't know that there's actually two different kinds of pears. Everyone's body type is completely different, and that includes people within certain body type brackets. So as a petite pear, let me kind of give you a bit of information to what we are. So petite pears are typically people who are about 5'5" and under. There can be 5'6", but typically when you get a bit higher, you end up being a bit of not of a petite pear. So petite pears are ones that you would actually look at and go, oh, they are not pear-shaped. Like, what are you talking about? And I've actually had complaints from people over the last couple months because I am not pear-shaped enough for some of my customers, which, you know, this is kind of why I've created Pear Collections, is that I was a pear-shaped woman and I couldn't find clothing that fit me. So pear-shaped women still have smaller shoulder width, really tiny waists, and larger hips, thighs, and calves sometimes. So we still have the overall layout of what a pear is. We are just petite. We are probably size 10 and under. And it is harder to actually see a pear-shaped woman who is petite than a plus size or full-figured pear-shaped woman. Usually when you get up to that next section, you can easily tell if they're pear-shaped or not, just because of their beautiful curves. Petite pears don't have as accentuated curves, but the curves are still there nonetheless. And it can actually be, now this is going to be quite a thing that I'm saying, and please tell me your response, but it can actually be harder to find clothes to fit petite pear women solely because there is such a beautiful and wonderful market for full-figured pears that there is nothing for petite pears. So typically we have to try on clothes and wear clothes that have been made for the stereotypical rectangular body, which fashion creates everything for. So when you get up to the full figured kind of fittings, let's say fittings of clothing, they do try and tend to go towards more curvy style clothing for their clientele. Whereas when you are a petite pear, no one actually thinks you're a pear, and they go, oh, of course this will fit you, you are crazy. And in your head you're just kind of scratching and pulling your hair going, no it won't, you just won't believe me. So it can be quite horrible being a petite pear, especially when full figure pears look at you and go, you are not a pear, you are not one of us, go shop somewhere else, basically. Which is really sad, and it was actually quite horrible because I've had people basically say the same thing to me, and that pear needs to have someone else promoting it, basically because I'm not pear enough for them, which is really hurtful. Not so much because it's my company, it's simply because, again, the whole point of me creating Pear is to create a community for all pear-shaped women, no matter what size they are. So pear-shaped women can be size 2, they can be size 0, they can be size 4, and they can be size 28, 30, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your size, it just matters what shape you are. So I hope this helps shed a bit more light on what a petite pear body is. We still have curves, we still have, you know, beautiful pear-shaped bodies, but we're just smaller, so we typically are much harder to find. So if you do have a friend who is a bit petite and she often has a lot of trouble getting clothes that fit for her, mainly you can tell if her waist and her hips, that ratio is a problem for her, she's probably actually a pear-shaped woman. So suggest to look up some pear-shaped women clothing for her, such as Pear, because it'll probably be the answer that she's looking for. And also, you know, just a reminder for everyone, always be so kind and gentle when talking about other people's body shapes. Just because they might not fit the status quo or what you've grown up learning about the body doesn't mean that it's not what they are. I think a lot of petite pears are really scared of coming forward and basically joining the body positivity movement simply because they are so afraid, and they have dealt with quite a few people yelling at them saying that they're not pear-shaped because they aren't big enough. You know, hourglass women can be size 0 and 2, you know, apple-shaped women size 0 and 2, it doesn't matter. Additionally, men can be pear-shaped as well. It actually happens quite often. Not as often as I think the inverted triangle does, but I have run into quite a few pear-shaped men, and it can be equally hard for them to find clothes. So just because you're a male or petite or full-figured, it doesn't matter. I want to be creating a community for all of us pear-shaped individuals. So please make sure to always like, share, subscribe, and comment, and really spread the word that pear-shaped is an all-inclusive community, no matter what size you are. So please feel free to share this one. I know it's a bit controversial, this episode, but I really want to get the word out and feel make as many people as possible feel comfortable in the community. So as always, guys, love your curves, and I'm going to add this for today's episode: support one another with each other's curves. Thanks so much, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.